Doctors taking on a major issue in the healthcare sector this morning, the high cost of cancer drugs. It is the top story in the Wall Street Journal. Doctors objecting to high cancer drug prices. More than 100 oncologists calling for new regulations to control costs for patients. The concern, of course, that skyrocketing prices are bankrupting people who are fighting for their lives. There's also plenty of blame to go around, from the drug companies to consolidation in the industry. Listen to what some doctors told Fox News' Laura Ingle last fall.
What we're seeing is that hospitals and physician groups are merging, and when they merge, they have more bargaining power to extract higher reimbursement rates.
Enough. A drug is a drug is a drug. We are not going to pay differently depending on where that drug's given.
So according to the Journal, cancer drugs hit $79.2 billion last year, expected to be the fastest growing category in the next 5 years. I recognize that the cost of developing these drugs is expensive, but how is it possible that the cost of cancer drugs has skyrocketed out of control? Jonathan, what do you
Maria, the cost of cancer drugs and healthcare in general has gone up as government's involvement in healthcare has gone up. I mean, why, for example, has laser eye surgery, of which government's not involved, gone down in price, while cancer drugs and all other elements have gone up? So, and this is even before Obamacare, government accounted for about 50% of healthcare spending. Now, I think you're seeing the consolidation that comes from government involvement in the economy. So cancer drugs are likely to go even higher in price. So we don't need more regulations. We actually need less to bring the price down.
And it's unbelievable, because I'm told that right now there are about 100 treatments in the pipeline for cancer. So broadly speaking, this is a really good story. We're actually, getting closer to winning the fight against cancer, and yet the cost is bankrupting people.
This is going to be the most critical healthcare story for the next 5 to 10 years in this country. To your point, all of these new drugs coming online, they're particularly immunotherapies to treat cancer, melanoma, metastatic melanoma, and lung cancer are the two big ones. But there's a new melanoma drug that's out that, based on the dosage, could cost $1 million per patient. 1 in 5 cancer patients, according to this study, up to 1 in 5, do not take their drugs because of the cost.
And that $1 million, what's the dosage? Is that 1 year? Is that 6 months?
It's one treatment to treat the disease.
Wow.
And that's just one example, and that's the extreme. But even with a drug that might cost, a combination therapy that might cost $300,000, you still have $60,000 out of pocket that a Medicare patient's paying. To Jonathan's point, Medicare is here to stay. You're not going to get Medicare out of it. Medicare can't negotiate drug prices.
Don't say it's a free economy.
You need the cost of the companies to come in. I mean, so the choice is maybe you disincentivize companies and have the government develop the drug. That's not going to work so great.
No, that's not.
So if you disincentivize the companies to be able to make money with the high cost of learning how to make the drug and the development costs, so I think rather than just getting the doctor's input, it would probably be good to get some of the scientist input and the company input to figure out exactly how much it costs to produce it and what the differential is from what they're charging for it, before we go right away and say, oh, these companies are the evildoers.
That's the discovery.
I mean, from the capitalist pig, you gotta, you gotta think about the company side.
You mentioned the development cost of bringing these drugs to market, and Maria, you're right. There's tremendous innovation on the way, but why does it cost $1 billion plus even to get some of these drugs into stage 1 or 2 testing?
You're absolutely
that's
right.
the reason why.
But that's the discovery that we don't have now about the cost of development. So maybe that's the door that opens first. But how about importing drugs from Canada? There will be more regulations, and the longer that we wait to act, the worse it's going to be for the drug makers.
Yeah, it's a great point. We're going to keep talking about this. This is an important story. We know that it is important to our viewers. Meanwhile, I want to turn